Record. We're recording on the computer now. Perfect. I have Trello up. I'm not sure if you have Trello up or not.
I do.
Cool. I can go whenever you want. Come on, come all. Welcome back to Chiowa. As always, I am Michael Olson alongside my good buddy, Michael Stampa. We are in episode 82. Is that correct?
82. I think so. I think 82 is right.
It's been a
That's
lot.
what we have. That's what we have labeled everywhere. So
Okay,
not
82. Well, how we doing,
no
my man?
problem.
How's your week going? How
Doing
were we doing
fine.
since I last talked to you on episode 81?
Yeah, everything's good. Can't really complain. Been pretty nice out here in Des Moines. Weather wise, got a nice decent run in this past weekend, and then now just kind of getting ready for our race coming up this weekend. How are you
Yeah,
doing?
I'm stoked. Yeah, I've been fired up. It's been beautiful here all week in Chicago. Getting like kind of spring weather. You kind of high mid 50s, low 50s. We got like looks like mid 50s this weekend for our race. Super stoked about it. Yeah, I feel like I've been recovered from my last 50K, which we might talk about a little bit
Three
in this
weeks ago, right? Yeah.
episode. But yeah, so I feel like I recovered from that, ready to go for this weekend.
Good. All right. Before we get in, we have a couple other things we want to talk about.
Yeah.
Everybody's been dying to hear about your Lakefront 50K. So give us the rundown. Talk about the day. How did your prep go? How did the race start actually go? Talk about the course a little bit. Where did you run through? The whole 9 yards.
Yeah, for sure. So I ran the Lakefront 50K. It was obviously here in Chicago along the lakefront. Started down in Hyde Park. So if anyone's familiar with Chicago, that's kind of a southern neighborhood in the city.
That's
Started at
where
Jackson Park.
that's where you University of Chicago is, right?
Yep, exactly. And what that's the there's some what's the Institute of Technology, Science Institute, or some art museum, some
The
institutes
science.
down there.
Yeah, isn't the you go
Art
ahead. You keep
Institute,
talking. I'll
maybe?
look it up.
Well, I don't know. Whatever,
No,
doesn't
the art
matter.
institute's like in the museum
Yeah,
campus.
I forget why. I don't know why I'm blanking on that. But regardless, yeah, I was down in Hyde Park. It was 50K. So I had a basically just a 5K out and back, so 10K loops. We just did that 5 times, which was a little different than past years. Obviously, with COVID and stuff, they wanted to kind of limit the running to an area that was pretty limited in trafficked area. So if you're familiar with the lakefront, it's a lot more traffic kind of up north by the city versus down south in Jackson Park. So yeah, it was good. It started out at 8 o'clock in the morning. This was a couple weeks ago. I think it was mid-March. So what it was March 20th
It was
was the
like
race.
March 20. It was a week after mine. It was like the 26th or something.
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah,
26th then. Yeah. Or 24th. Whatever it was, 26, 24. Doesn't matter. 26th.
26th,
20,
27th. Was that a
27th.
Saturday?
Yeah,
This
27th.
is great content. It's the
Yeah, great
27th, so we're
content.
both
Holy
wrong.
shit.
Also, it is the Museum of Science and Industry in Hyde
Okay.
Park.
But yeah, so it was good. 50K, so 5K out and back, so 10K total. Did that 5 times. Very different from past races that I've done. This one was the most kind of similar to what you would expect from a regular marathon in the sense that it was all on concrete, which
Mm-hmm.
is kind of abnormal for most ultras in general. Obviously, most of them are trail or gravel or some sort of crushed limestone or something. But this was all pavement, so that was a unique thing. But very flat. I know that a variety of the top 25 50K times from every single year come from this race since it's very flat. So it's a great race for people who are fast to kind of set their personal records and people who aren't fast to set their PBs because they're not running hills and trails and whatever. So
Like
um,
you set your 50K PR with
yeah,
that
yeah, which
landslide,
is
didn't
not
you?
good, but it was
No,
it
that's
was
good.
sub
Why is that
five,
not good?
so I was happy about that. I get reminded very frequently that I'm very slow. A lot of people have blew by me many times, and then Des Linden had to kick us all in the dick today
Oh, don't.
instead of world
We'll talk
record.
about Des later.
Yeah, instead of world record in the 50K distance. But anyways, no, it was good. It was kind of started early, so it was kind of cold. It was like it was probably maybe high 30s, low 40s. When it started out, it started at 8 o'clock in the morning. Only 75 people or so did it, so it was relatively a small start uh, pool, but they did split it into kind of two different like aid stations where you had 35 people on one side, 40 on the other, whatever it was. Um, Started out cold. Didn't bring gloves like an idiot. Running along the lakefront, obviously it gets a little windy. So
Yeah.
the first loop was a little chilly, but ended up linking up with a guy from Iowa, actually, from Iowa City area, who saw my Ironman visor on, and he did those as well. So we linked up. We're talking about his different races he's got going on. He's running he's running Leadville for the fourth time now, I think it was. He hasn't finished yet, so he's going back for his fourth dip into the Leadville 100 to see if he can't get a finish this year. I think he was saying a couple years ago he actually completed the course just beyond the allotted time, which I can't
Oh,
imagine going.
do you
You know,
do you know like how much time was it within like minutes or was it like hours?
I don't
Either
know.
way,
It's a
it's
good question.
either
I
way, it's a huge accomplishment. Now he's done the whole course, so he knows he can physically do it. Just got to do it a little bit faster.
yeah. So I had a huge amount of admiration for him, just kind of hearing about, he's done it, 3 times now and hasn't finished and go back for his fourth. And he was telling me that the person he got his bib from this year, it took her husband, I think it was like 15 times before he finished, or a dozen times
Oh
before he finished
my
Leadville.
goodness.
So I can't imagine going back for that much agony and pain, 5 times, let alone 15, whatever he had done. So yeah, it was cool. Like, that's the best thing about ultras is talking to the cool people that are doing them alongside of you. So talked to him for one loop, and then I kind of got towards the end of loop one, and he wanted to slow the pace, so I kept going and finished loop one, feeling really good. My folks came down and so did my brother to see the race. They'd never. My brother obviously saw a Badger, but outside of my brother, my parents had never seen an ultra, so they got to experience that for the first time. So I got to high five them coming through the aid station at the start finish line the first go around, and they actually ended up being there for every loop through the aid station. So that was
Nice.
kind of cool. But yeah, the lap two went well. Met up with another kid who was doing his second ultra. He had done the same one year the year prior, so it was his second ultra. He had never done a marathon. He just was like, yeah, I'm just kind of doing this for the exercise to kind of keep me off my butt, which I gave him a huge amount of props to. So I talked to him the second loop, kind of similar. Kind of dropped him maybe in the last mile of loop two. He wanted to slow down. So yep, felt good in that. And then loop three, kind of ran the 5K out and back down. And then I was like, I'm going to check in with Nate and Alex, who we had on 2 weeks ago, see how their race is going. So called Nate and Alex, kind of see how they were doing. They were crushing it. They were at a turnaround point. So got to FaceTime with them for 2-3 minutes, checking on them while they were crushing their 50 miler. And then yeah, I ran the rest of the race by myself. So I just never ended up kind of linking up stride for stride with anybody or finding the right pace. So that was the unique thing. Normally I run races, and meet somebody and run alongside them, and you link with somebody else. But
Mm.
with COVID, it was a relatively small start line, and yeah, ran for 2.5, 3 hours kind of on my own, which was, a good challenging experience on its own. So, fortunately the weather cleared up and we were able to kind of, enjoy the beautiful views of Lake Michigan and the skyline kind of into lap three is when it kind of started clearing up. So, yeah, it was overall great. Felt pretty comfortable throughout. I got sniped with about 100 yards to go. Somebody just sniped me in the hammy, and I caught a big old cramp right in the hammy, and I almost fell
Oh
down. It was
no.
hilarious.
With the
Um,
finish line in sight.
yeah, it
So
was around
did
the
you
corner basically. So I guess it was maybe like maybe a tenth of a mile or a quarter
Okay.
mile, but it was I could see the finish line, like it was
Oh
there.
man.
And
So
I
did
couldn't.
you tough it out and just like sprint through it, or did you give yourself a second to walk a little
Yeah,
bit? You were probably watch checking too. I know you came in right under 5 hours, so you're probably like, I can't walk this in.
yeah, exactly. So I wasn't gonna. I obviously in my head, going in the race, I would like, I want to break 5 hours, but I didn't want to like think about it until really the last loop to know if I had a chance. I didn't want to put any pressure on it. I think I said, kind of coming into the race, all I want to do is kind of enjoy it and be present and kind of enjoy just being on the race line again, on a race course again. But yeah, obviously the competitive nature, you start seeing that number tick by, and like, okay, I can hit this. I want to hurry up and finish. And I did have to stop when I got sniped with the with the cramp. I kind of had to lean up against the guardrail on the on Lakeshore Drive for just probably about 5 seconds, and then another group that was passing me who was a good time the whole day. They were kind of giving me a hard time. They're like, "What are you doing? The finish line's right there." I'm like, I caught a cramp for the first for the first time all day. 30.9 miles into this race, and they were giving me a hard time, which I appreciated, and just we were kind of laughing it off. And then yeah, I just sucked it up and kind of gimped it home, and it kind of worked itself out while I was going down the finishing chute. So yeah,
Okay.
overall, great day. It was super fun to be back on a start line, back in a race. Nothing too crazy. It was a pretty straightforward course, obviously, with being an out and back 5 different times. But yeah, it
Yeah.
was a great race, and I'm stoked to do it again this coming weekend. So
Well, good.
all in all,
Good.
great
Well,
time.
I've got a few other questions for you. So first of all, congrats on your sub 5 50K.
Thank
That's
you.
huge. 4:57. That's quick. That's a quick click. That's what, just under 10-minute pace you probably ran,
Yeah, it
or
was like
just around 10 minutes.
9:30 or so, I think it was.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Did you feel now I looked at your Strava, but did you feel like you were pretty consistent in your pace? Did you go all out in the beginning and then, give yourself some extra time at the end, vice versa?
Yeah, good question. I feel like I was pretty so I trained pretty consistently. I think I was always kind of around that 9 minute pace, and I knew that was kind of what I have always felt comfortable with. And I'm not trying to break any speed records or anything. So 9 minutes is
You're
usually
about
what
two
I'm like
hours
kind of
too
aiming
slow
at
for
for
that.
50K distance on it when it's flat.
Yeah.
So yeah, I feel like the first five loops, I feel like we're really consistent. Um, Probably any of the big kind of gaps you see throughout, probably once every 5 miles from the aid station, every 6 miles, whatever it was. And then the last loop, I definitely slowed down some. I try to do that intentionally because I knew I had, I had built in some buffer of breaking the 5 hours in the first five loop or first four loops. Um, so I wanted to kind of take the last one cautiously because I didn't want to like blow up and have to walk for 10 minutes and miss that opportunity to break five. And I was also obviously hurting. I just ran 25 miles, so I was a little bit
Yeah.
you know
You felt like you would
fatigued.
expect
But
to feel after running
yeah,
25 miles.
exactly,
It turned
exactly.
out.
So yeah, I feel like it was pretty consistent for the first 25 miles, and then the last 10K was maybe 30 seconds slower per mile.
Yeah. So then in this race, so it was 5 6 mile ish loops. We'll call them loops, but out and backs.
Yep.
I feel like this is different than like what the normal looped course would be because the looped course would be just
Right.
that, a loop. The out and back, you see the same people all day.
Yeah.
So how is that? How was that experience kind of passing people the whole time? And I don't know if there was high fiving, but cheering from cheering from
Definitely.
back and forth all day. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think I said I only ran two loops with two different people or two out and backs, two different people. But like you said, you see the same people regardless if you're running if you're running 6.5 minute pace or if you're running, if you're walking the whole thing. You see everyone the
Hmm.
same amount of times because you're going up and down the same course. So that was cool, definitely. I mean, you get to see the guy who was leading the race just as many times as
Yeah.
you saw the last, the person that was, running alongside of you, or there was, I mean, the last finisher. So yeah, it was definitely cool. Everyone was saying good job, great job, looking good, looking strong. Got to see the same photographers every single time you went up and down. Kind of got to wave to them, know where they were going to be in their different spots. So yeah, definitely, thought it was cool. Provided a unique kind of atmosphere to kind of see everyone on the course. Sometimes you kind of see the same people because you're on the same pace. So you see them at kind of you link up at aid stations, whether you're running faster than them, then you stop and then they meet you at the aid station or vice versa. You kind of see the same group of people. This time, you saw everyone, at least 10 times. One on the way out, and one on the way back.
Yep.
So yeah, that was definitely cool and unique thing to this race because you are seeing a lot of the same views, but you're seeing the same people a whole bunch, which makes for definitely a community atmosphere,
Yeah.
especially for a smaller race of only 75 people.
Yeah, and I feel like that too. I mean, obviously you have the lake basically on one side and the city of Chicago to your north, so you got that in view for basically half the race while you're running north and not running south.
Yeah,
But I feel like given that it's like on concrete, it's not necessarily like an ideal like ultra, like you said. Like it's pretty, but it's the same thing over and over. But I think that seeing people the entire time would really kind of change that mindset. Would make it a lot more fun, a lot more doable. Give you a little bit more to like look forward to. I don't know,
yeah. I mean,
not look
it
forward
was
to, but you know
just
what
it
I mean.
was a very unique and different ultra than the ones I've done in the past, which is like anything, it's pros and cons because like you said, it's a pretty it's concrete, so you're a lot of clanging and banging with running on concrete, but at the same times you see the same people, see a whole bunch of people who are in the race and who aren't in the race, just enjoying the lakefront path in Chicago. So
Yep.
yeah, it was definitely a unique one. I think I prefer trail stuff and stuff where you're out in nature, but I'm super glad I did it, and it was great, and it was obviously super close to where I'm at right now, so it was easily accessible, and one I'll probably do again. So would definitely recommend the Lakefront 50K for anyone who's in the Chicago or Chicagoland area. Super easy one. They have one in the fall in October as well. It's called the Lakefront 50/50. I think this one occurs up on the north side again, hopefully in October. They have a 50 mile and a 50K that utilizes more of the lakefront than this one that this go around. But yeah, it was cool. It was a unique one in the sense that it was in an urban area. Most of them
Yep.
are outdoors in a pretty nature setting. But yeah, it was cool, man. It was a good race, and good to get my feet wet back in the ultra pool, so to speak.
Good. I'm glad to hear it.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, so today is Tuesday. We're releasing this on Thursday.
April
Something
13th.
April 13th. Something pretty epic happened this morning. You wanna talk about it a little bit? I'm
Yeah,
sure every
and to be
yeah,
honest,
go ahead.
I had kind of forgotten that it was today. I know that Nate kind of said in our little our running group chat that today was the day that Des Linden, I think she's obviously a phenomenal runner, has all kinds of accolades, but it's probably most well known to everyday person for me. She was the 2018 Boston Marathon champ. I think it was the first time like 30 some odd years an American uh, had won Boston when she had done that. That was a gross, rainy, windy day. But anyways, she's kind of transitioned over to ultra running, and she went after the 50K world record today up in Eugene, Oregon,
Yep.
and she fucking smoked it.
Just blew it out of the water.
Blew it out of the water, beating the record by more than 7 minutes,
Yep.
coming in a time at 2:59:54. Breaking
Insane.
3 hours is absolutely incredible. So
Insane. So she had a similar type course to you. So I saw that it was on. I also wasn't sure if it was going to be like a controlled course,
right,
like when they did the sub 2 hour marathon, which is still an incredible human feat, obviously, but
oh, of
it
course,
doesn't. I don't think it counts as like a marathon world record because he had a pace car. He was, they did it based on the
right.
conditions. He was on a banked track or whatever. But Des ran it on a like a bike trail.
Yeah, I think it was an abandoned bike trail or something like
And
that. Yeah,
yeah, so I think I mean I'm assuming that's going to be counting as like the actual 50K world record because again it wasn't on. She had elements. I'm sure she had pacers, but she had elements and she had like natural factors that could have affected the actual race or
yeah,
the actual run or the attempt.
absolutely
Um,
incredible.
but just 2:59:54. Yeah, like you said, 7 minutes ahead of Allie Dixon's, who was set a couple years ago, and she averaged 5:47 per mile.
Yeah, it's insane. I would have been at like mile, and this is my PR for my last race. I would have been like just starting my fourth lap.
Yeah, you would have been like 18 miles in.
Yeah, I would have been like 18 miles in. Yeah.
Yeah. So do you remember when we ran that Grand Blue Mile a couple years
Yes.
ago?
Yes.
We ran, I think you and I pretty much were stride for stride, and we ran that mile in like 5:36, 5:38.
Yeah, you
And
definitely were a few seconds ahead of me, but regardless, I was
okay,
spent. I was cashed. Like I was gonna
I
throw up.
want to throw up right after that. And she
Yeah.
did that 31 times.
Yeah,
30 more
yeah,
times.
it's insanity. Literally don't know how that's even physically or humanly possible.
Incredible. So I'm curious, do you think that like more marathon runners are going to try to break into the like ultra world now
I hope so.
based on yeah.
Yeah, I hope so. I mean, I think that as the popularity continues to grow with the sport, and more and more, it becomes more and more accessible because there's more and more races and there's more and more coverage on it. I hope so. I think that maybe she's, I don't know, if I want to say past her prime, but maybe she's like tired or sick of running marathons. She's done like 20 plus of them competitively. Maybe she wants a new challenge, and there's certainly so many more distances beyond the marathon that that continues to get opened up to people's eyes, that it doesn't just stop at 26.2, it goes further.
Hmm.
So yeah,
Hmm.
hopefully she's first of many to kind of make that jump.
Hmm. Yeah, and I think we something that resonated was that we talked about with Alex and Nate last week was once Alex and Nate got to 32, and for us, once you take a step past the furthest distance that you've ran, it's uncharted territory.
Right.
Not really sure what's going to happen. You're not really sure what's going to go on. And in this article from Runner's World, um, she was talking about how once she got to mile 25, 26, she felt fine. But then once she was over 26, she started to feel a little uncomfortable.
Right.
Once they had that 5 mile out and back, she was like, I don't know how this is going to go because it's uncharted territory. And I'm paraphrasing. But I mean, she's saying towards the end, once she hit the marathon mark, she had to get the last out and back in just under 30 minutes. So she
Damn.
just ran 26 miles. She's got 30 minutes left to get sub 3, and she's got 5 miles left to go. So averaging a 6 minute
Sheesh.
pace after running a marathon, hard pass.
Yeah. I mean,
Incredible.
I guess that's why it's a world record.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely incredible. The fact that I can't imagine what she was feeling, and I don't know how the setup was. That there was a clock above the finish line as she was approaching the finish line, but I can't imagine what was going through her her body clock as she was looking at her watch, saying, I got to be there in a minute, or I got to be there in 2 minutes or 30 seconds, whatever it is, to kind of hit that last second kick, whatever you got left in the tank to cross that before that three shows up on the left hand side. That's
Yep.
a hell of an effort, no doubt.
Yeah. And it's like, I mean, she had 6 seconds left to
Yeah.
break 3. I guess she had 5 seconds left to break 3, finishing in 2:59:54. 6 seconds is like, oh, an extra little backstretch
Yeah.
during one of your
Right.
water breaks.
Yeah.
And I'm sure as a marathon runner, she probably didn't really stop. I'm sure she didn't stop to refuel or anything like we stopped to eat for 5 minutes during a race. But that's,
No regrets.
Yeah, exactly. But that's just like one thing that, could go a little bit differently. That's
Definitely.
taking, 4 or 5 turns, not as perfectly as you could.
Right. Yeah.
Nuts.
It's insane. But yeah, super inspiring. I think it's like stuff like that that once you go out and bust your butt on your training runs and stuff, but also keeps you humble. Lets you know that while you're doing these awesome things, people are doing a lot better are doing it a lot better than you. So
Yep.
it's good. It's good on both things. It motivates the hell out of me, and then it also kind of keeps me down to earth, knowing that I'm actually pretty fucking terrible at what I'm doing.
Yep, absolutely. But with that said, you're great at what you're doing because you're
Exactly.
doing it the way that
Exactly.
you want to do it.
100%. And
We're happy, we're comfortable doing what we're doing, and we're not. I'm sure if either one of us, no, okay, I know that neither one of us could run a sub 3 hour 50K, no matter how much training we did over any period of
of
time. I
course
don't
not.
think
Yeah,
either of
of
us
course
could get
not.
down there. Well, I don't know. No, I don't think so.
Maybe if I
Whatever,
was on a
doesn't matter.
bike.
Yeah, I 6 minutes. That's pretty fast too.
Yeah.
Like 6 minutes consistently over 30 miles. That's pretty
Yeah.
exhausting.
But
Um,
no, yeah, it's like obviously joking. I mean, there's
yeah,
no
I know.
everyone has different goals, but
Yeah,
super inspiring and incredible that she is able to make that jump so easily too. I mean, obviously she put in a shitload of work, but her
yep,
first real crack at this, she fucking did it.
yep. But yeah, she's a professional runner, and I think a few months ago, maybe it was sometime late last year, she did Calendar Club.
Oh, nice. Yes,
We
she
kept
ran
seeing
ran to
stuff.
the Dodgers game or something.
Yeah, so
Saw that.
I'm not
Yeah,
exactly sure,
yeah,
but that sounds about right. But I remember seeing her like posting on Twitter, and she was talking about how like much she was running and she was doing this and doing that. I was like, all right, why is she just posting like these 3 or 4 mile incremental runs that she's doing throughout the day?
yeah.
Like, why is she running so much? And then it didn't hit me till like mile or like till big 18, 19, or 20, where she was saying like,
Ah,
"Yep, got to
calendar
get those
club.
miles in." And I was like, "Oh, this is all lining up." And I think she knocked Calendar Club out of the water too.
Yeah, I'm
Um,
sure. I'm sure.
but yeah, I mean, having done that too, I mean, not having us do the Calendar Club, but her doing the Calendar Club, I'm sure helped her prepare to just be absolutely exhausted.
Yeah, yeah. Build up that tiredness in the legs and get used to running on that. No, no, no doubt, no doubt.
Yep, yep. So,
But
oh well,
anyways, yeah. Now that we've
congratulations.
talked about the incredible 50K performance, let's talk about our very underwhelming 50K performance that is coming this weekend.
Hey, I don't want to say it's underwhelming. I
No,
think that it's going to
yeah,
be
it's not. I'm
exciting.
stoked.
I
I'm
know.
stoked for it.
Super excited. So we got Earth Day 50K coming up. That's in Vets Acres Park, Crystal Lake, Illinois. Running it with a couple friends who we will probably have on the podcast after the fact.
Yeah.
Um, but I'm super stoked. So first of all, it's not first of all, but it's 6 5.2 mile loops.
Yep.
So it'll come out to like right about 31 miles, hopefully. It should be just about perfect. It's put on by Ornery Mule Racing, which they do Hennepin, they do Kettle Moraine, Frozen Gnome. I think they do McNaughton and the one that was this past week in Potawatomi, the Pot 100 and 200 and whatever, which that's another beast. I'll
Yeah.
ask you about that later. Um,
I've seen the
so
pictures from Pot this past weekend being like all rainy and nasty. I felt so bad for those people out there. I feel like that happens every fucking year of that too.
Yep, pretty much. I think you're absolutely right. So I guess now that we're on the topic, so they have Pot's like a 10 mile loop down in Pekin, Illinois. Um,
Shout out Pekin.
Shout out Pekin.
That's where my
Are you
dad's
familiar
from.
with Pekin? Oh, I knew that.
Yep.
Interesting. Anyway, I think that the 150 or 200 miler sounds kind of enticing. Like it sounds really interesting, but sounds absolutely terrible at the same time. But also part of me's like, that could be pretty fun. So I don't know.
Keep it in the back of your head for next year. Hey, never.
Yeah,
It's not going anywhere.
no, it's not. But I don't know. Would you does that in any way interest you?
Specifically Potawatomi or the 200-mile
The
distance.
200 mile distance.
Yeah,
I think
definitely.
okay. I think Pot would be a good one just because it's 10 mile loops. It's not a 200 miler that's actually 240 miles and that's actually like in the mountains in Utah and Colorado, like a race that Candace puts on. But
Yeah. Yeah. There's a fuck. What was that one? There's one in Chicago.
a
That's
200 miler?
yeah. It's I'll have to find it.
What?
It's I think it's the first year of it this year. Where'd it go? Fuck, what's it called?
Mm.
I'll look it
I
up
know
while we're
there's
talking. But it's the first year, I think, and it goes on that. There's a trail that it goes. It's like 240 miles, I think it is. That goes throughout Chicago. It goes like out to Naperville and all over the place. Um, I'll have to find it. Whether it's this, we can talk about some other race or other podcasts too. But there is a race in Chicago. It's like 200 outer belts. Here it is, October 21st, 2001. This year it's 220-mile race. You can do it, solo or relay. There's a 100-mile
In
option, 100K
Chicago?
option, and that's in October of this year. So and it starts in Palos Woods, and it follows
Okay.
the outer belt trail around Chicago.
Mapping route. I'm does
Yeah, I
it
didn't know it was
like
a thing until I saw it on. I don't know if it was Flatlanders group or if it was just me just looking around on Ultra Sign Up or whatever it was. But I looked at that a variety of times. Um, but yeah, it goes all up the lakefront, out to the suburbs, down, ends up in kind of the south side of the
really
lakefront
far?
trail. But yeah, 220 miles. So you could do
You
that one too.
literally
That's a
like
flat one.
run Yeah, you literally like run around Chicago.
Yeah. Yep.
Like you can say that you ran around Chicago.
Correct. Yeah, it's crazy.
That's
Yeah.
nuts. I mean, imagine running from Geneva to Chicago 5 times.
Yeah, it's sentence to say, and then do it a lot more. But yeah, anyways, so there you go. You got two options right there: Potawatomi and Outer Belt.
Okay. And we also have the transcendence,
Yeah,
the 3,100-mile race in New York that takes place
yeah.
around like one square block. I don't think we've ever talked about that, but
I don't think we
that's
have either.
absolutely insane.
Well, there you go. Outer Belt can be your warm up, and then you can run it backwards. Then you can you'll be all trained up for that.
Yeah, that sounds like
Get a
fun.
quick 440 440 miles in.
Oh my god. Hard pass. Hard pass. Anyway, what were we talking about?
Yeah,
Oh, we're
Earth Day, and
starting to talk
I
about
I
Earth
had a
Day.
question for you about that. I don't remember when was the last time we ran together. Was it
Um,
pre-pandemic? Did we run? Did we like when it was like first starting? Did we run with each other in like
Probably.
last March or
Yeah,
April?
I mean, I remember. So I know we ran into each other, like physically ran into each other a few
Around
times
Grays, I know, but that was like when we
during
were
the
running
pandemic.
separately. Yeah,
Yeah. But honestly, it was probably the day, the morning after Adam Silver canceled the first basketball game. The reason I
yeah,
say that, the first basketball game in like last March,
right.
the reason I say that is because I remember sitting in your apartment drinking coffee and like not having known that they canceled the games and watching Sports Center and very uneducatedly being critical of them for canceling these games because they thought that they were
Yeah,
going to have. In my head, I was like, oh, they're just going to lose money, which obviously now in retrospect was not correct at all. It's a very deadly pandemic, deadly virus. But I think that might have been the last like time that we ran it because then later that day, more and more information came out. That was like right after Rudy Gobert, was being kind of an asshole
yeah,
again, kind of just in an uneducated way, um, kind of ignorant. Not in the whatever, doesn't matter. But I think that might have been the last time, like
yeah.
right
I'm trying
around
to
that
look when
time.
that was March 12th.
That would have put us like like right at March. But that's odd because I still like that weekend after. I think is when I went to the casino for my baseball draft
Yeah,
up in
maybe that's not, but around that time. So it's been over a year,
Yeah.
regardless.
I mean, we could probably look at Strava to be honest. Is that
Yeah,
what you're
I
doing
thought
now?
about that, but I don't know if I want to scroll that far.
It's a long way to. I'll look it up online.
Yeah. But
But it's
anyways,
probably
regardless, it's
been
been a
that
long
long.
time. So
Yeah.
I'm stoked to be able to. Obviously, I'm stoked to have the race, but I'm stoked to just like be able to run with you again. So it's been a long time since we did that. Normally, that was a weekly occurrence. When I was in Des Moines, and we weren't in pandemic survival mode. But
Yeah.
yeah, it'd be good to just be like out on a trail together again. It's been forever.
It has literally been over a year, which is
Yeah, it's crazy.
insane. Yeah,
Which
and I
is
don't
this
think
is
I've.
kind of just happenstance that it's working out that you're going to be in Geneva for this. So it's
Hmm.
perfect.
Yeah, it's working out nicely, and I don't think I've ever ran with Carlson before.
Yeah,
That's a
I
lie. I mean,
hadn't until I
we've
moved
like,
here.
yeah, I mean, like we ran it like football and stuff, but that's not the same. Um, but yeah, no, it's gonna be nuts. I'm excited.
Yeah, I am
I
too.
think
Looks
it's
like the
gonna
weather's
be
gonna be good.
Yeah, the weather should be nice. I think it's gonna be challenging because I think it's a lot of gain, um, and just pretty consistent hills. But I don't know, it should be fun.
Yeah, it
And
should be good. It should be dry. I know that it's been like super sunny and beautiful this whole week, so it should be dry to out. Hopefully, knock on wood. Hopefully, not too sloppy in the low points of the trail. So, um, seeing some pictures from Frozen Gnome and stuff and past Earth Day, it looks like they've had some mud in the past. So, um,
has
hopefully,
it always been at this time? Has it always been like mid-April?
always around Earth Day.
That makes sense. Is Earth Day always in mid-April? I was gonna
Yeah,
say,
which Earth Day is what? April like 20 something, I think. April
I don't
or
know.
Earth Day is what? Earth Day is April 22nd. Yeah.
Oh, okay. But when Carlson ran Frozen
He
Dome,
ran
I think
Frozen Dome. It's the same. Like it's the same like
it's at Fetz
woods.
Acres, but yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, okay. That's why he said. That's why he knows the course.
Yes. Correct.
Okay, okay, got
And
it.
he said that I think the RD had said that it's slightly different course, but still obviously
Okay,
the same. It's the same park, so it's very very similar.
okay.
But yeah,
So
I'm stoked.
super
What are you
excited.
looking forward to it the most? It's been obviously a little while since you've
Just
done a trail race as well. Obviously,
yeah.
50Ks of convenience was kind of unique in the sense that it goes throughout a town. But how are you feeling about running a trail again?
I feel okay. I mean, I had some good miles last weekend at Browns. Browns obviously isn't the same as this trail that we're going to be running in at Fats Acres. It's the first mile and a half, 2 miles of Browns is pretty much runnable. And then the last mile is kind of when you get your gain, and even then, it's still there's only two big hills that you really kind of have to walk. So I'm
Still a
looking
good. I mean, it's still technical at times.
yeah, yeah, it's good. It's not like it's not difficult, but it's not easy the entire
Hmm.
race. So I think that was good. I got 18 and some change in there, so that was good just to remind myself of doing a loop course, doing a trail course the whole time, kind of being mindful of where I'm putting my feet. Didn't trip at all.
Nice.
Um, yeah, it was like pretty good weather, like super comfortable. So a great day to kind of get out there. So I feel okay about going out and doing like trail again. The only thing that I'm unsure of would be like if the trail is more technical than like I'm ready for, or if it really is just like up and down, going to be hiking all day. That'll be fine. It'll just be a lot more work. I'd like to get
Yeah.
some running in, but we'll know that in the first hour or so. We'll
Right.
we'll
First
have a
loop.
layout of the course, so we'll be okay. Um, so I don't know. I'm not. That's what I'm kind of looking forward to. I'm looking forward to running with you, running with Carlson, seeing Nikki out on the course. Hopefully getting some time with her too, and just kind of I don't know, taking it easy and enjoying the day.
Yep.
Not trying to set any records. I know we're not going to set any PRs or anything.
Right.
So just enjoying the woods and hopefully enjoying the nice day.
Yeah. Yeah,
How about
nah,
yourself?
same thoughts. I
Yeah.
think in terms of like kind of race strategy, probably similar to you is take the first one really slow. None of us have ever ran the. I mean, I've never ran the course. You've never ran the course. Figure out what the lay of the land is, and not push too hard the first one without knowing what's around the corner. And then once you kind of get that first loop down, kind of knowing where you can, what areas are runnable versus not runnable, and then go from there. So,
Yeah. Well, I mean, we
like you
sprint
said,
laps 2 through 6, right?
yeah. Then you sprint the last 4 laps or 5 laps, whatever it is. Yep.
Exactly.
That's how you win. But no, yeah, I'm stoked. I haven't ran a trail since I've lived here, which is crazy. So yeah, I'm just excited to be back out in the woods. I mean, everything is blooming right now in and around here. So I'm sure it's similar in Des Moines, but it's gonna be beautiful. Like everything's gonna be like blooming, and the trees are gonna be starting to show their leaves and everything. So I'm super stoked for that, just to be out in nature again. Like you said, I have no aspirations of running this hard. I want to just like have it enjoy the day out there, take it easy.
Hmm.
Obviously, you want to push yourself, but nothing like not trying to, like you said, no PRs are gonna be broken or anything. So, yeah, I'm excited to be out there. Enjoy the nice weather. It's supposed to be perfect running weather. A little chilly in the morning. Maybe bring some light gloves for the first loop or so. While the sun's coming up, because we have an early start at 7 a.m. But other than that, just enjoy the trail, eat a bunch of food, and then we got some beers waiting for us afterwards. So
I
it should
hope
be an all
so.
around a great ultra.
It should be. It should be. And I know Hill's going to be there at the start finish, and I know that they were not hesitant, but they said don't have your crew mob at the start finish, which is fine.
Right.
Um, the entrance to the park though is at like a almost like a baseball complex, not a whole complex, but large
Nice.
parking lot. There's like a baseball field. There's like a regular park, so she's going to go find a place to put up a hammock, I think, and
Cool.
just kind of hang out there. So I'm
I
sure
mean,
we'll see her throughout the day.
that sounds
Every
awesome.
every hour or so. So that'll be
Yeah.
nice. And yeah, grab some beers afterwards, and toast our slow but fun race.
Then eat our faces off.
Exactly.
Yep.
Nothing better than just that first post run, first post race meal.
Yep.
So good.
It's the best. And yeah, having a beer. That's my one request when my folks came for the lakefront was, do you have? And I was like, oh, I only have one request if you come, and it's just please have a beer waiting for me at the finish line, and they did. So
I love it.
that's all I care about is yeah, having a nice meal and having a nice beer after we finish. It makes it all worth it.
What kind of beer did you have?
Uh, they brought me Daisy Cutter. It was actually my brother had
That's
picked
your
it out
go-to,
because
isn't it?
yeah, it's a regular one I have, and he actually had come over to my apartment the night before we went to dinner with my folks, and we had a beer here, and that's what I had in my fridge. So he knew that I liked it because I had it. I gave him one the night before. So yeah, it was
Perfect. Well,
super
he was
nice
just
to
paying
have
you
a
back.
beer at the finish line, and sounds like we're gonna have the same thing on Saturday, which I am always stoked for. So
Yeah, I'm super excited. And then yeah. So are you planning on coming to Geneva at all? You're just gonna go right
I
to the
don't think
race?
so. My
I would
folks aren't
expect
gonna
you
be
just go
there.
right to the race.
Yeah, my folks are going to be in Geneva, so I think that Dan and I are just going to carpool and get up at the ass crack of dawn, and then just drive over from the city. And shouldn't be any traffic when we're driving at 5 o'clock in the morning over
5:30
to
in the morning,
Crystal
not
Lake.
a
It'll be
problem.
about an hour. So probably plan on getting there at 6 or so, maybe a little after 6. Do packet pickup, and then have 30 minutes or so to kind of get ready for the to toe the line. So yeah, it should be good. I know that looking at the Facebook page and their social stuff. Looks like they have awesome like finisher rewards, kind of similar to what they do at White Rock, where it's kind of like painted pieces of wood,
Okay.
all about Earth Day and kind of unique finisher awards. So I always appreciate those. That'll be kind of cool. And then
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited
Better
to see
than a
the
medal.
yep, yep, exactly. Excited to see the swag in terms of like the shirt. We both got hats, which I think is a kind of a cool thing to be able to get at a race. So yeah, I'm excited to kind of see the swag and the kind of the painted, handcrafted finisher awards, and had never even heard of this race until about a month ago, and I kind of looked up a race so Dan could do it after he got COVID and missed the lakefront. So I'm glad it worked out that
Yeah.
you're going to be there, and from everything I've seen, it looks like it's going to be an awesome day.
Yeah, and I feel like even though it's put on by Ornery Mule and Michelle Hartwig and that crew, I think a lot of Flatlanders are there too. So it wouldn't surprise me if you. I mean, I think it's not a huge group of people, but a
I think there's
decent
like
size. But
130 people running 50K.
yeah, yeah. So it's not terrible, and we got those 3 waves, which will be really nice. That we aren't starting a trail race with 130 people.
Yes,
We're
definitely.
breaking off every 30 minutes or so. Um, but yeah, so it should be a pretty good Chicago crowd, which I would expect. And I know they've talked about it on 10 Drunk Miles. I don't know, hundreds. I feel like hundreds of times to talk about
Oh,
the thing
really?
every year.
Nice.
So yeah, so yeah, super excited. Should be a good race. Looking forward to hitting some trails.
Yeah, man.
First time in a
And I'm
while.
I'm just
Yeah,
excited to be able to shoot the shit
yeah.
outside of
Hang out.
podcast. Not that we don't leave anything unsaid on this podcast, but it'd be nice to kind of catch up beside without a microphone in my hand.
I know, right? You need to get a stand for that.
I know. I seriously
You're in a
do. I seriously
yeah.
do.
So
But yeah, I can't wait. I'm fired up. Like I said, the weather's gonna be great. Hopefully it's dry. It's gonna be perfect running weather, and
yep.
we'll certainly have a race recap. I'm sure we'll have a race recap the following week, which is I guess what already next week. So
Yeah, it's coming up pretty quick.
yeah.
So
Anything else? I know we're kind of relatively short, but we
I don't
we
think
only had a
so.
few things on the topic to kind of recap, and
Yeah.
obviously we'll have the race recap next week. But
Yeah, no, I don't think so. I'm looking forward to checking this one off and having a good time doing it.
cool, awesome. Well, thanks for tuning in, guys, and we will catch you next week.
All right. See you.
Peace.
Nice.